All right, Patrick, do you want to round up? We're going to play a little fuck, marry, kill. It's a little tradition I've been starting over the last, I've probably been doing it for about 6-7 months now. I like to end by, it's a classic game, an American classic. I think we started it here in America. Maybe it's
I used to say F, marry, kill on Howard Stern on terrestrial radio. I love it. You're free enough here.
When I break this into clips on the YouTube, I do F, marry, kill. But then I think on YouTube also they have marry, kill, smash, which just doesn't roll off the tongue. I don't like that. I'd rather say F, marry, kill. Now with you, I want to do. I've been doing it geographically for people, or like what they're into. When I had Marty DeRosa on, he's in the world of wrestling, so I'd like wrestling divas for him to choose. For you, I'm picking Southside actresses because you're a good Southside boy there, Patty. Although, real quick for my national listeners, there is a big difference between Pat McGann's Southside and the Southside that they scare you about on the national news. It's just there's a little bit of a difference there. So
is Jenny McCarthy in this?
She is. Do you know her? Right. I could remove her if you know her.
My sister is like just a couple away from her in the Mother Macaulay yearbook. Alphabetical.
Oh yeah,
McGann and McCarthy. I know they're on the same page.
If you're uncomfortable, I could remove her.
No, you don't have to.
I'll keep her in. All right, because the reason I have her in is she's an obvious one. She's from Chicago, Southside especially. She's cousins with Melissa McCarthy. I was thinking about putting her in, but they're all Jennifers. I've got Jenny McCarthy, Jennifer Hudson, and Jennifer Beals. And we're going to do a fourth one. We're going to do R. Kelly too. No, I'm kidding. I think it might be West Side than South Side. But, I used to do it where sometimes you'd have a guy to choose from, which I could throw in there because we're all adults, right? But your choices for fuck, marry, kill are Jenny McCarthy, as we all know, blonde. She's married to a Wahlberg now, not the one that's not as cool, not Marky Mark, but Donnie. She was on Singled Out back in the day. She's with The View. She has views that aren't controversial at all. And and the other one,
anti-vaxxer, right?
She's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah, she's big on that because she was like, I don't know.
You know what? That can get you killed.
That could get you killed. She literally. Was she married to Jim Carrey or just dating him? I think they were together for a while.
They were together for a while. I don't know if they ever got married. And we're gonna kill her.
Okay, and then you got Jennifer Hudson, beautiful singer, great actress, and then of course Jennifer Beals was in Flashdance, which is a big movie in the 80s in which she takes off her bra through her shirt, and everyone really dug that.
Okay, yeah, right. I might have to do that.
Right, so we're killing Jenny McCarthy. We already put that out there.
We'll do the bad word. I feel uncomfortable saying that I'm gonna F, marry, and kill F, marry, or kill a woman from the South.
Yeah, the kill part gets people. How about
I'm gonna
ruin their credit?
I'm gonna marry Jennifer Hudson.
Good choice. She's a good singer too. Lively conversation, I bet.
And we, one of the guys that worked Sebastian's tour he's like her right hand, so we could talk about him.
Nice.
So then I'm gonna have to kill Jennifer Beals. No, I killed Jennifer McCarthy.
You killed Jenny McCarthy for being an anti-vaxxer.
So I have to F Jennifer Beals.
You got to F her up. You got to not F her up, but you got to make love to her.
I got to flash dance Jennifer Beals.
You know what? You ever think about that? Like if you're famous for a certain thing, I wonder if people think about it. If you were a single man and you went out with Jennifer Beals and say you've been dating for a few months, because you're not going to bust that out first date. But after a few months, you might be like, so can we get a little role playing here? I'm thinking it's 1983. You're kind of working up a sweat in a warehouse, dancing it up. What do you say?
Would you mind grabbing the leotard?
Oh, man.
JB?
You know she's been hounded for that. You know some date she's been on was like, come on, one time, do it.
She's still going, right? Like she's got a nice career. Is she in like a cop show?
She's in some cop show, and then she was also in there was a cop show that was filmed in Chicago for a year called like the Chicago Code or something.
I love that show. I thought that was good. That was the guy from Brotherhood who was in that. That
was like Australian, I think,
yeah,
right?
Australian, Darren Clark or something.
Can I tell you about that? So I was only a couple of years into stand-up, but I knew this English guy named Benny Harris. And Benny got into voice coaching where he would coach actors. Like he moved out to LA and he would coach actors on how to do an English accent. Like he got a job working for like some company or studio or something. And he hit up me and a couple of the Chicago comics that he knew. I think like Brendan McGowan. I'm trying to think anyone else you might have known about. He says they're doing a cop show in Chicago and, you know, they need a voice coach to teach this guy how to do a Chicago accent. He's an Australian actor. He's the lead. Do you think you could like, you know, and I had like a phone interview with someone where I had explained like how I would teach them how to do a Chicago accent and what I think might help and to make it authentic. They didn't hire me and I missed the season premiere of the show, but I was listening to local sports radio as I do. And the first thing they brought up was how they thought the accent sucked. And I'm like, that's what you get for not fucking hiring me.
Yeah, it wasn't a great accent, but I did like the show. I remember Mancow was in like the first episode. He was
Mancow, local
playing himself. And then I think that guy also played Kennedy in like didn't he play John F. Kennedy in something?
He might have. He's a good actor. No, he's a good actor. I just don't think he nailed the Chicago accent that well. And of course they had to do the Cubs socks joke.
Oh yeah.
Every show does that. The first episode of Chicago PD, they did a Cubs socks joke, but not only that, but they did like a South Side joke where the one guy was like joining their tough guy unit. This was like a tougher, more undercover unit. And he's like, where are you from? And he goes, my parents were divorced. My mom lived in Canaryville. My dad lived in Beverly. And he's like, well, in this job, I'm going to want you to be more Canaryville. Which I remember just being like, God, who wrote that? They must have wrote that to be like, hey, we're authentic Chicago. Like, we're the real deal. Meanwhile, in episode 3, they said soda instead of pop. And I'm like, fuck this show. No, I actually kind of like Chicago PD. It's a good show. Yeah. I like it a lot, actually. Hire me. I auditioned for it last year and didn't get a part, but this year, maybe.
That's the one I still get a check for every now and then. I did a Chicago PD. I saved a woman's life in that. She got beat up in front of my house in the Gold Coast.
Oh, that's great, man. I didn't know you were in an episode of that.
And I had to come out and what's the older woman?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know her name.
Just Tracy or Stacy?
Something like that.
Anyway, I was a car collector. I had to say this line that would make you cringe. He was talking about like the car's driving off, and I got to say like it was a '57 Chevy. I collect. Like it's like, oh, who says that?
Yeah, maybe a Gold Coast douchebag might. So I think you nailed the part.
I collect.
I had a part in Chicago Med in which I played a guy who got stabbed over a game of pool. And I was the main like big surgery of the episode.
Sounds like real life, Joe. You got in a fight? You're at a bar, you got in a fight?
That's why I said, I didn't even feel like an audition. I walked in and the producers were like, I'd like to stab this guy. I'm like, I can say the lines. They're like, nah, don't even worry about it.
So you had to act stabbed?
Yeah, like they rolled me in on a gurney. I had like 2 lines, or I had 3 lines. They cut one of them because I had a line before they approached me, but I think they got rid of that part. And then I'm just like, oh man. And then it's like, I grabbed the doctor. I'm like, stab me over a game of pool. And then I kind of like black out. And then I'm like the main surgery and they like cut me up.
Dude, I got to see this.
I could show you some pictures.
So you talk about we're coming full circle. You talk about seeing people you know on something. Like that's what I would love. Like seeing, like there's Joe Kilgallon.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. Man. It's fun. I get a kick out of.
I've seen Megan Gailey in a couple commercials. She was like in the almonds commercial, right?
Dude, she was in an almonds commercial every day.
Saw Martin Murrow in a bunch of commercials. I see. Gosh, who else? A lot of people.
Well, just today I saw Andrew Santino in a commercial. Do you know Santino?
I don't know him, but I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude from the Chicagoland area. And it's a commercial for FanDuel. And, we were talking about earlier when it's like you tell your kids, hey, I know this guy on this TV, and my son that's like almost 4, he kind of starts to be like, oh, you know that person? Because I'm trying to explain to him about like actors and all this kind of stuff. Because like, he loves like around Christmas time, he liked the Polar Express, but he also loves Toy Story. And I'm like, that's the same voice that does Woody, that does the conductor, Tom Hanks. He's starting to connect it a little bit. But anyway, so I'm watching TV and a commercial for FanDuel comes on and it's Andrew Santino. I'm like, oh, this is a friend of me. It's one of Daddy's friends. I do comedy with him. I've done a bunch of shows and stuff. And he's like, oh, cool. And then the whole commercial, it starts to go back and like, it's on his face first, and then like, zooms out, and he's pantsless, but they have like a blur over his junk.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm like, my son's kind of like, what the hell is this commercial? He didn't say anything, but I took a photo of it and I texted Santino being like, dude, I'm trying to watch the show with my kids. And then his text back was, let me see. I think I got it real quick. He texted back.
The unblurred part?
Yeah. So I texted him the blurred part or whatever. He didn't text that, but it was hilarious. He goes, oh, and they finally saw a redhead with a substantial cock. That's what he writes back. Santino, you son of a bitch. I just wrote, you know what? Touche, my man. Touche. There you go. All right, Patrick McGann, Patty boy. Dude, this was fun, man. Thanks
Great to talk to you, Joe. Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for jumping on the podcast. Is there anywhere you want people to follow you? The special's on Amazon, everybody.
Yes, they can check out the special on Amazon. It's also supposed to be on Peacock coming out this week, I think.
Oh yeah, the Peacock, everybody. That might be an app worth getting.
New streaming service, the Peacock. But yeah, I'm on social media. Instagram is where I post most of my stuff.
You're just at Pat McGann, right? You don't have to do any like weird shit.
It's at McGann_Pat.
There we go. So I'm glad you said at McGann_Pat, everybody. Also, when we get off air, I'm going to double check to see if I have your phone number. Because I thought, I messaged you on Facebook, but I'm like, I've got his phone number. I have 2 Pat McGees in my phone, and I didn't know who was who. Because I knew a Pat McGee back in high school. So I'm like, fuck, I don't want to text the wrong guy and then get stuck being like, hey, what are you up to? It's been 20 years.
Some other guys that ends up on your podcast.
I know. Great. I'm like, well, let's see what's going on with you, buddy. I love when you run into someone you haven't seen in like 15 years and they're like, man, it's been 15 years. Yeah, there's a reason for that. We don't need to like talk about, I don't need to catch up. I don't need your life story.
Right.
I want to get my donuts and leave just like you, my man.
It's been so long.
So long. All right, dude. Thanks again for doing the podcast. You're the best. Everyone follow McGann_Pat on all the social media platforms, in particular Instagram. Look out for his special on Peacock and on Amazon. Just type in Pat McGann on Amazon and it'll come up. When is mom going to be here? Or when is mom going to be home?
Yeah, when's mom going to be home?
When's mom going to be home? Great title. You guys are going to love his stand-up. Dude, Pat, you're the best. Thanks again, my man.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thanks, man.